Welcome back, day 26, as we dive into Genesis chapters 41 and 42. We're diving into the fascinating story of Pharaoh's dreams and how it led to Joseph's rise in Egypt. It's a pivotal moment in the Bible. So, let's kick things off.
Absolutely. Pharaoh's dreams are like a dramatic twist in the story, and what's incredible is how they directly lead to Joseph's destiny. Imagine having such vivid dreams, only to find that no one can interpret them. It's pretty intense.
Right? We're talking about 7 fat cows and 7 skinny, ugly cows. Then the 7 healthy ears of grain and the withered ones. It sounds like something straight out of a surreal movie. But the thing is, Pharaoh doesn't know what to make of it, so he turns to his magicians and wise men.
Yeah, and no one can help him. He must have been pretty desperate at that point. But then, just when things are looking hopeless, the chief cupbearer remembers Joseph. That moment is key, isn't it? It's not just a coincidence.
Exactly. This is where it starts to get really interesting. Joseph, still in prison, gets summoned to Pharaoh. He doesn't boast about his abilities, though. He immediately says, "It isn't in me. God will give Pharaoh the answer of peace." That's a humble yet powerful statement.
And it's a huge moment of faith, right? Joseph isn't just interpreting the dream based on his own wisdom. He's giving credit to God, showing that everything, his ability, his understanding, it all comes from a higher power. That's such an important aspect of this story.
Totally. And then Joseph proceeds to interpret the dream, explaining that the 7 fat cows represent 7 years of plenty, and the 7 skinny cows represent 7 years of famine. It's a clear prophecy, and it's spot on. The dream wasn't just random. It was a divine warning.
Right, and Joseph doesn't stop there. He goes on to advise Pharaoh on how to prepare for the upcoming famine, basically suggesting that Pharaoh appoint a wise man to oversee the storage of food during the 7 years of abundance. This advice is so practical, it's brilliant.
And Pharaoh sees the wisdom in Joseph's plan. He's so impressed that he not only promotes Joseph, but makes him second in command in all of Egypt. He gives him his signet ring, robes, and even a gold chain. It's such a dramatic turnaround for Joseph, who just a few years earlier was in prison.
It really is a redemption story, isn't it? From the pit to the palace. It's almost like a Hollywood movie. But beyond the drama, there's a powerful message about divine timing. Joseph's faith, patience, and his ability to interpret Pharaoh's dreams at the right moment set the stage for the greater plan that God had for him.
Absolutely. And then, as the 7 years of plenty unfold, Joseph collects so much grain that it's as the sand of the sea. That's how much they had. But it's in the context of saving for the famine that's coming. It's like a divine investment in the future.
Yeah, and Joseph names his 2 sons, Manasseh and Ephraim. I love the meaning behind those names. Manasseh means, God has made me forget all my toil, and Ephraim means, God has made me fruitful in the land of my affliction. It shows how Joseph has come to terms with his past and seen God's faithfulness through all the hardship.
It's a beautiful reflection of his journey, isn't it? But then the famine comes, just as Joseph predicted. And this is where things get even more interesting. Jacob and his friends back in Canaan find themselves in trouble. There's no food, and they hear that Egypt has grain. So they send the brothers to buy food. But Jacob doesn't send Benjamin, Joseph's full brother, because he's afraid something might happen to him.
That's understandable. After all that's happened with Joseph, Jacob must have been terrified of losing another son. But the twist here is that when the brothers arrive in Egypt, they don't recognize Joseph, who's now the governor. But Joseph recognizes them immediately.
It's such a dramatic moment. Joseph has all this power now, but instead of immediately revealing himself, he tests his brothers. He accuses them of being spies, even though they're just there to buy food. And what's fascinating is how he uses this moment to test their honesty and repentance.
It's a tough test, for sure. Joseph is playing this out with purpose. He's not just toying with them, he's looking for genuine change. When they admit their guilt over what they did to him, it's a turning point. You can see that Joseph's brothers, even though they don't know it's him, are starting to recognize the weight of their past actions.
Exactly. And it's at this point that Joseph says they can't leave Egypt unless they bring Benjamin back with them. He's giving them a chance to prove their integrity. And after 3 days of confinement, Joseph offers a compromise. Send one brother to fetch Benjamin while the rest go back with food.
And here's where things get even more tense. When they open their sacks, they find their money has been returned to them. Now they're really scared. They wonder, what is this that God has done to us? It's like they're being haunted by their past, and the consequences of what they did to Joseph are catching up to them in unexpected ways.
It's the ultimate twist of fate, isn't it? Their fear is palpable, and when they return home, they have to tell Jacob everything. They explain what happened, including how they were accused of being spies and had to leave Simeon behind in Egypt. And Jacob's reaction is heartbreaking. He's devastated, thinking he's lost yet another son.
The tension really ramps up here. Jacob is so crushed. He says, Joseph is no more, Simeon is no more, and now you want to take Benjamin away? It's like everything is unraveling for him, and then Reuben steps up, offering his own sons as a guarantee that he'll bring Benjamin back. But Jacob refuses.
Yeah, he's just not willing to take that risk. It's a tough moment for the family, and this all happens in the midst of a severe famine that's ravaging the land. It's one of those moments that shows just how much is at stake. Not just for Joseph, but for his entire family.
It's all leading to something bigger, though. The story is far from over. What we're seeing is a setup for reconciliation, for healing, and for God's plan to unfold in ways no one can predict. Joseph, though in power, hasn't forgotten his brothers. There's more to come in their journey of redemption.
Exactly. It's a story of divine timing, forgiveness, and ultimately restoration. As we move forward in the narrative, it'll be interesting to see how Joseph handles the next phase, especially when he finally reveals his identity. But for now, it's a powerful reminder of how our actions, no matter how far in the past, can come back to us in unexpected ways.
Well said. And as we wrap up today's episode, let's leave our listeners with this thought. How do we handle the consequences of our past actions? And when faced with challenges, how do we remain faithful, like Joseph did, trusting in a greater plan?
Great question to think about. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. We'll be back next week with more insights from the scriptures. Until then, stay blessed.
Take care. God bless.